Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of December 5th, 2021. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological week, without a doubt, as we approach the very big news, which is one of the most important moments of the larger Venus retrograde season. It is going to be on Thursday that we have the first exact and precise meeting of Venus and Pluto. It is going to be next week that Venus will officially go retrograde, the week after, again connecting with precision with Pluto. But the thing is, Venus is moving so slowly now that she's essentially just hanging out with Pluto in the sky throughout this month, really. And this represents intensity and it represents truth, but it's a type of truth that does not always come on with ease. Very often it is a truth about ourselves, about our own desires, about what we believe, about our worthiness to be loved and to know love, and where it is that perhaps we're not in alignment with that ideal. All of that is likely to reveal itself to us now. Now, what's interesting in the context of this week is that this takes place in the context of a week that has us going from feeling empowered and impassioned to feeling confused and perhaps even disillusioned as well before we get to the core issue, before we get to that truth of Venus and Pluto. And then at the very end of the week, well, the week ends on a high note of sorts, because the week does end with a beautiful alignment, a hopeful alignment between Mercury and Jupiter, one of the last important alignments, one of the last, not the last, but one of the last important alignments that Jupiter is going to make while wrapping up its transit through the sign of Aquarius this month. And so when you look at the sky, you can see here that all of us are going to be on one type of journey or another. We have a desire to be philosophical. That is Mercury right now, moving through the sign of Sagittarius. The desire, or at least the tendency, to direct our minds towards what we can be optimistic about, what we have to look forward to. However, Mars is in Scorpio. The truth is there, and sometimes the truth feels empowering, and sometimes, especially as we move to the middle of the week and Mars squares Jupiter, it can feel as if we are wanting the truth to be something different, something more than it actually is. And then we get to Venus and Pluto on Thursday, and that is acceptance, deep acceptance. With Venus in the sign of Capricorn, a lot of what we need to accept is where it is that perhaps we have fallen below our own standards, our own understanding of what we deserve, whether that's respect, whether that is our own belief in a vision for our lives, where it is perhaps we have accepted certain hierarchies, certain traditions that maybe aren't working for us anymore, and where perhaps we've internalized some of these messages and that really isn't working for us at all anymore. And then, of course, as we get to the end of the week, with that Mercury in Sagittarius, we get to define what our guiding philosophies are going to be for ourselves, thanks to Jupiter in Aquarius. Now, to give you a little bit of a heads up, as I already mentioned, next week, Venus goes retrograde. And what we also have next week, well, that is going to be Mars changing signs, Mercury changing signs. And so we can see here that in many ways, some ongoing matters that have been taking place for us over the last few weeks are now in the process of wrapping up. But at the same time, we are gearing up for one of the more important transits that we are likely to see, especially related to Venus and especially related to love for this decade. And I don't say that lightly. Now, there is going to be a Venus retrograde special horoscopes. I'm so sorry if you're used to me saying that. I promise you there is going to be one up very soon. Definitely before Venus goes retrograde. I'm hoping sooner. And I appreciate your love and your patience with that so very much. But I did want to talk about Venus retrograde in the context of this week, because it's next week, but this week Venus slows right down to a standstill. At the height of her power, at the height of an understanding of what we love, passions are high. And this heightening of passions is that much more enforced by the fact that we start the week with Mars in Scorpio, speaking in harmony with Pluto. So let's talk about this Mars-Pluto energy for just a moment. Mars often stands, at least mythologically, in contrast to Venus. And Venus and Mars, they have a very interesting dynamic that plays out in Greek mythology. They just can't resist each other. In some ways, they are positioned as opposites, but on the same axis. Whereas Venus sits back and enjoys, Mars pursues, goes after. And these two are like magnets to each other. The fact that both energies are speaking with Pluto in one way or another, well, Pluto adds intensity. Now consider the fact that as Mars is starting to wrap up its transit through the sign of Scorpio, we just sort of came out of a whole lot of Scorpion energy. It felt like concentrated Scorpion times there for a little bit, especially when you think back to what was taking place sort of in the early part of November in particular. And so I was speaking to you about the energy of transformation and regeneration, but also the energy of having to turn over stones and look at what it is that others might deny, what others might consider ugly, has its beauty to it. What others might reject actually is a part of us all. And so where it is that perhaps there is more work to do for us to own the complexity of who we are and what we want and why we want it. Even when it's messy, even when it's taboo, even when it's hard. That has been part of the invitation to us. Well, a lot of that work that we've done, sometimes not easy work, is going to pay off in the early part of the week, thanks to Mars sextile Pluto. Consider this as well. Mars is the ancient ruling planet of Scorpio. Pluto is the modern ruling planet. And when you consider the modern planets, right, which are Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, up until the 1770s, the universe only extended as far as Saturn. That was the limits of our awareness, which is a reflection of the limits of our consciousness. And as we as human beings expanded our understanding of ourselves, so too did our understanding of the world around us, including the cosmos around us, expand at the same time. The sky is a mirror. The sky has no influence over us, but it does reflect what is happening with us here on Earth. And we are connected to everyone and everything, which means we're connected to the planets as well, individually, deeply, personally, but collectively as well, universally as well. And so the discovery of the outer planets signifies when we as human beings take a leap in consciousness. And that is rooted in a leap in our understanding of ourselves, of our own power, of our own agency, and the depth of human experience that we may express, that we are able to express. It was up until very recently in human history that for the vast majority of people, your life was pretty much written for you. From the moment of birth, you were going to do for your work what it is that your parents did. And that was going to be your role. You were going to inherit whatever property that they had. You, in some cultures, married who they said you would. Or you married somebody in your neighborhood, basically, someone who was within proximity to you. And there wasn't a whole lot of agency beyond that for the overwhelming majority of people. But Uranus is discovered, and hand in hand, we come to discover ourselves differently. We come to recognize that each of us has spirit that is equal to each other, regardless of the shell that we hold. And this represents a big leap in consciousness. This understanding that mind and thought is one thing, matter and body and appearance is a whole other thing. That the two don't necessarily have to reflect each other. That there is something divine within you and in all of us, regardless of our shell. Well, that was a leap in consciousness. It's called the Cartesian split. It comes from Descartes, I think, therefore I am. That's the discovery of Uranus. And then we have the discovery of Neptune. And this is a return to a spiritual perspective, but this is also reflective of a time when people are starting to make these connections. They're starting to create new understandings of spirituality, where they are blending different traditions together. And this is what comes to define the New Age movement, the emphasis on inner authority, but also seeking the commonality of different ways of understanding the divine within ourselves and in a larger sense as well. And this also corresponds with more people being able to travel, being able to relocate than ever before. Masses of people coming to the Americas more than ever before. And so this also represents a leap in consciousness as well. The discovery of Neptune has also been connected to the suffragette movement, the abolitionist movement. So these movements of recognition of spirit, the spirit that is in everyone and everything, which means in every human being, again, regardless of shell, regardless of ethnicity or race or gender identity, I would say. There is this sense of equality that plays out, that is rooted in spirit, rooted in soul. And then we navigate forward, and it is the early 1900s that Pluto is discovered. And this coincides with another awareness that we start to have of ourselves, the depth of which we exist and we are, and why we are the way we are. And so it is the discovery of Pluto that coincides with psychology and psychiatry as this brand new science, an expansion of it that just had never been known before. An exploration of the psyche that had just never taken place before. And so ultimately the outer planets are very karmic because they coincide with these massive social movements. Their discovery, but also the transits that happen. Yes, they speak to larger than individual events, but they can also be deeply personal energies. Talk to anyone who has had a major Pluto transit, a Pluto conjunction to a personal planet in your personal natal chart. And they'll tell you they felt it. That is a transit that you feel. You know that Pluto has arrived because you are being asked to rebirth in some way. And that's another understanding of Pluto as well, the life, death, rebirth cycle. And this understanding of life, death, rebirth has been conceptualized in mythology again and again throughout cultures, throughout history. I'm thinking about, of course, Hades/Pluto. Well, Hades in Greece, Pluto or Pluton in ancient Rome. even Kali, a very different energy, a different understanding, but still an embodiment of the life, death, rebirth cycle. The Hindu goddess who speaks to the connection between destruction and regeneration, the connection between what evolves and changes and where it is that endings take place, so too are inherent in endings new beginnings. And wherever there is a new beginning inherent within it, the seed within it is a sense of endings, a sense of closure. She's much more dramatic about it though. With her iconography, you can see her wearing a necklace of skulls. And this is part of what represents an interaction with, an acceptance of death and finiteness of our human existence. But it's also, and in her iconography, an embrace in what is eternal about us, what always lives. That's what rebirth is about. It is ultimately an understanding that spirit always exists. Regardless of what happens to the shell, regardless of what happens to matter, spirit is there. And in some ways, all of these different archetypes touch on this very Plutonic experience of Venus conjunct Pluto. Venus conjunct Pluto is ultimately an invitation for us to bring love to the process of regeneration, even when it's hard. The thing what Pluto is, another thing that coincided, another social movement that coincided, was that around the world we saw how cruel human beings could be to each other. And that is part of the pain that Pluto can embody as well. And so here we are. We've got Venus in Capricorn, having to do with traditions and hierarchies, and Venus is meeting Pluto. And this suggests that all of us, in one way or another, and in one area of life or another, are looking at whether or not we are going to bring love to the regenerative process. And where it is that sometimes allowing a transformation to occur is a supreme act of love, even when it's hard. And it's about acceptance, really. Accepting things as they are, even when it's hard. Acceptance may be one of the more challenging, especially to the modern mind, one of the more challenging spiritual lessons that many of us may go through. And there's a reason for that. We live in times where we know ourselves and our power more than ever before. We have more agency over ourselves than ever before. And so we believe that we can move our lives in the direction we desire to go. And there certainly are times when we can. But a Pluto conjunction to Venus, that ain't happening. I gotta be really straightforward with you with that. It just ain't happening like that, especially in matters having to do with love, having to do with money, especially in matters having to do with our inherent connection to our inherent worthiness, our sense of knowing that we deserve to be connected to self-love, that we are worthy as we are in and of itself. And wherever it is that there is pain, that there is guck, that there is a need to uncover stones so that we finally get out of the way whatever it is that keeps us from fully embracing love, that is going to start to show up now. As Venus is especially close to the earth, when it is that Venus is changing directions, she is as close to the earth as she is going to get. Her energies are especially heightened, and Venus, of course, having to do with pleasure, having to do with love. Our desire for pleasure is heightened. Our desire for love is heightened. It's a very passionate energy. Yes, Venus let Aries take the lead, but she was a full participant in all of their escapades and rendezvous in Greek mythology. And so this energy invites us to look at our own painful experiences or our own psychology, which is often shaped by our own painful experiences, to examine where it is that perhaps we're ready to look at things differently, enough so that we may love more deeply than ever before, love ourselves more deeply, and love each other more deeply as well. This Venusian energy is very powerful. It is intensified at this time and will be throughout the month. I'll remind you when we get to the next conjunction, and of course next week when Venus does go retrograde as well. Our desire for love is strong, but ultimately the search is one that needs to take us within ourselves. That's where the purest and most lasting type of love can be found. I have to say, with Pluto, with the outer planets in general, yes, but with Pluto especially, events can feel very fated. And events now where it comes to love and money and pleasure and joy, these lessons that will present themselves to us can feel very fated. They can feel like we must engage them. But the thing is to engage it consciously. Venus is slowing down to a standstill. Once she goes retrograde, really things can end up being very different once she does go direct, and especially once we navigate further into this Venus retrograde season. When we get to the end, like January 29th, Venus goes direct while trine Uranus. In an instant, we are going to see December very differently. And that's coming up. At the very beginning of March, as Venus ends shadow, she is going to be hand in hand with not only Pluto, but Mars as well. This is a key dynamic that is going to be playing out throughout February and into early March. Venus and Mars are going to be mighty close together. This is going to heighten a sense of urgency to learn these lessons in love, a desire to know love more deeply. If we're fortunate, that path and these lessons will take us to ourselves. But it may also be fortunate to have other types of experiences as well. All of it ultimately is fortunate if you learn something about yourself, if you cultivate greater love and greater wisdom. And what I see with this energy is love and wisdom written all over it. We get to see ourselves more deeply, even if it's hard, even if it's painful. We get to more closely examine the true roots of our own desire. And that journey starts now. Up until now, it was light and easy and breezy. As Venus went into shadow in the middle of November, trine Uranus, that's a lovely energy. Yay, surprise, delight. And then as we got to the end of November, Venus sextiled Neptune. That's beautiful and spiritual and dreamy. Now things get real. And it starts this week. And so in the lead up to that meeting of Venus and Pluto, we are going to have on Tuesday, Mercury square Neptune. Confusion abounds, mixed messages, mixed feelings, uncertainty, our fear coloring our vision. And then on Wednesday, Mars squares Jupiter. We want what we want. We're going to go after it. We're going to go all out. When what we might need to be doing instead is listening to our own intuition, understanding our own power more deeply. Mars in Scorpio says, be strategic. Really look at what you want and understand how to get it from the inside out. Square Jupiter, though, all of that goes out the window. It has to happen right now. We want the intensity right now. We want the 5-year relationship right now in the span of a week of meeting someone new. That's the type of energy we have on the lead up to Venus conjunct Pluto, and then this energy perfects, and we have to get honest with ourselves. Why we want what we want. what's missing, even if it's hard to acknowledge that we feel something is missing. To be willing to sit with it transforms that very experience, transforms the desire itself. And that is a powerful thing. What I love about this week for us, wow, what a powerful time. It's like the universe is going to kick into high gear, and it starts right now. I know I told you way back in November, I remember there was this 1 week, sort of in the second part of November, where I said, okay, it feels easy right now, enjoy it, because really December things are going to kick up into high gear, and we're here now. We are nearing the end of an important year, and the universe really wants to help us to not only bring a whole lot of lessons together, but is letting us know that we are nowhere done some of our most powerful learning. And after all that we've been through 2020, through this year of 2021, I find it really fascinating that now the universe is saying, get to the essence and the core of your heart. Understand what love is going to mean to you now, and what love is going to mean to you as you move forward from here. All of us in one way or another are exploring matters of heart, matters of desire, matters of what we want, why we want it, how we go about getting it. The why is what is truly profound, but that also may be exactly what we are most adamant to avoid. That's where Pluto is, and Pluto can be painful. And we as people will do all kinds of things not to feel uncomfortable and not to feel those things that might have hurt us in the past. We may choose and not want to truly be honest with ourselves about it. But now, here we are. And with Pluto, the lessons are very fated. Their time has come. And so this is work that we are ready to do individually and collectively. What do we truly love? Where does our heart truly lie? It's one thing to have a concept and a conceptualization. That's great. That's Mercury, right? Encouraging us to think for ourselves, which is a wonderful thing, but it is another thing to be honest about what we feel, even when it's messy, even when it's hard. But that's where the truth is. The truth of ourselves, the truth of what has led us to the life that we have, the life that we've created, and the dynamics of love in our life, the love for self and the love for others. How much we love and value ourselves, it doesn't just come out of nowhere. We are taught our worthiness. We are taught how much it is that we deserve our own love. And unless we choose consciously, chances are for many of us out there that learning that we took on actually wasn't worthy of us. We deserved better. We deserved more. We interpreted events in a way that maybe did not affirm healthy self-love, healthy self-worth, healthy self-esteem. But that can also be part of the reward of this time, because now we get to become aware of it and we get to do the work. And in doing the work itself, the pathway itself, we get to show ourselves that we know, regardless of conditioning, regardless of what has been before, we now know that we are worthy of the work that love requires. And doing the work that our own love requires is a powerful thing. With Venus in Capricorn, this is where we earn our self-respect through heart, through love. And the love that we give ourselves can only magnify that much more, bringing love to everyone around the world. Well, thank you so much for watching. What do you love about this week? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading you guys. And to prove it to you, here are some of my most recent favorite comments. Thank you to everybody who likes, who comments, who subscribes, who shares, who thumbs ups. All of it means so much. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you. And of course, if you want to know how all this wonderful energy this week speaks to you in your sign, log on to NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded exclusive video scopes for each and every sign, each and every week for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership Rate. That's right, choose your membership rate. You can go as low as just $3 a month for horoscopes for all signs each and every week, expanded video scopes. Now, higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. A live monthly event for all superstars and so much more. All of this in the superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Link is in the description below. Venus retrograde season special horoscopes are now up on my website, NadiyaShah.com, or at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. For each horoscope, I think the shortest is about 15 minutes. The longest is over a half an hour. But I really go through the entire Venus retrograde season per sign, per video. And so I hope that you guys absolutely love them. They've been getting wonderful feedback, and I'm so very grateful to each and every one of you for that. Those of you who have actually downloaded one of these videos or watched it in the superstar space. And as I said, you have my sincere apologies with not having the overview ready. I want to apologize in advance. You guys are so amazing. You may remember I was homeless for a few weeks basically. And so that kind of affected production quality, I have to say. And I really sincerely apologize about that. But I really wanted to get those horoscopes done as Venus and before Venus was heading into shadows. So you will see some inconsistencies, some looks where I'm really relaxed, some weird camera angles and things like that. But here's the thing, the information is there. The information is consistent, where I go through some of the most important aspects and what this Venus retrograde journey is going to mean for you, for your sign. I suggest getting one for your rising sign if you know it, and certainly one for your sun sign as well. That would be my recommendation. But of course, if you sign on to one of the higher tiers in Superstar, you get access to all of them. So again, link is in the description below. I hope you absolutely love these Venus retrograde special horoscopes. I hope you absolutely love the information that's in them and find it valuable as we all are going to embark on some very important karmic lessons in love that are meant to change us deeply going forward from here. NadiyaShah.com and NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Link is in the description below. Synchronicity University, boy, have we got an incredible January lined up for you. And right now, choose your tuition rate. As low as just $5 a class is on now for just a few more weeks until the end of December. So as we begin this week, you got about 4 weeks left to choose your tuition rate as low as just $5 a class. How exciting is this? And so we have classes with me. We have classes with YouTube astrology phenomenon, Stormie Grace. Then we've got an incredible speaker series as well. So let me start with the winter 2022 session that's going to be starting in January. This is going to be really incredible. I am set to have a whole lot of fun with you guys. We're going to be looking at a bunch of asteroid goddesses. And so this is something highly requested, very popular. And what we're going to have Black Moon Lilith talking about power and sex and what that means. We're actually going to go there with this class, and I hope that you love it. We are going to have a look at Vesta in astrology, another goddess. We're going to look further at Pallas Athena earlier on Saturday, just yesterday from the time that this is publishing. We had a class on Pallas Athena, and the students absolutely loved it. Thank you to all the students who joined us live, who get the downloads and the replays. Thank you for that. So we're going to have more on that. So all of that is going to be really exciting. We're going to look more at the midheaven. We're going to start looking at the ascendant. We're going to look at the sun in the astrology chart. How exciting is that? And one of my favorite classes that I'm really looking forward to, and I think is perfect for this larger Venus retrograde season, and that is the astrology of timing beauty routines. And we are going to look at all kinds of beauty routines to understand how to time them, and also to understand what types of aspects you want to look at in your chart to tap into. Now, here's something I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview of the overview Venus retrograde special video that I will be doing for you. And again, you have my sincere apologies. I hope and wish that there are as few of you with Saturn in the first house as possible, because that is an energy that has been a huge learning opportunity for me. But it is very uncomfortable to me to have a plan to say I'm going to do this and then to not have it ready for you guys is very hard for me. And so I really do deeply apologize about that again. And I thank you for your patience and your enthusiasm and your love. I'll tell you more about what's happening in my life a little bit in a few minutes. But first, yes, astrological timing for beauty routines. Check out this class, Venus retrograde, not the time, especially not for something new, but really not the time to be engaging in experiments where it comes to celebrating your unique beauty, because you really may change your mind, in some cases dramatically so, once we get to the other side of the Venus retrograde season. So I'll have some fun stories about that in that dedicated video coming up. But yeah, that class is going to be so much fun. We're going to look at all the different types of beauty routines, everything from haircuts to new wardrobe choices to cosmetic procedures, tattoos, injectable cosmetic procedures, all of that. There are certain astrological moments that are more fortunate for things like that. And that's what we're going to look at. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that class, however it is that you celebrate your unique beauty. Just for that class and the enthusiasm I bring, and the fact that I'm teaching that class really for my mom, because she's always asking me best timing for those things, but all the wonderful classes we have, all of it. I hope that you absolutely love it. Classes with me, winter 2022 at synchronicityuniversity.com. Choose your tuition rate on now for just a few more weeks. Link is in the description below. Synchronicity University presents the one and only Stormie Grace astrology YouTube phenomenon. Stormie Grace is going to be teaching an astrology and business class with us at synchronicityuniversity.com, as low as just $5 a class with choose your tuition rate for just a few weeks to go on that choose your tuition rate. And boy, am I looking forward to this class, I'll tell you. Stormie really knows her stuff. She has graduate level education in business. And of course, she brings so much love and clarity and accessibility to her astrology classes as well. And so she's going to be helping you to identify everything from creating the business, the right type of business for you, prosperity, whether you're looking at your business chart or you're looking at your natal chart. This is going to be a very thorough 5-week course. I know that this is going to be something very special that a lot of students are going to use to empower themselves going forward from here, to empower themselves, especially where it comes to aligning vision and passion with something that resonates as calling, and aligning with life purpose, and aligning your finances with that as well. As part of what I do personally, I have a business class that I teach once a year at Kepler College, and it is usually in the summer months, and it is always so interesting and rewarding to share this whole other perspective where it comes to astrology, but also where it comes to what I do to empower others to go off and create something wonderful and a life that is wonderful and rewarding, aligned with purpose. I love that Stormie Grace is doing that. I absolutely love that she is bringing this practical understanding where it isn't just about understanding a few key principles, but it really is about understanding the variety of ways in which you can align with prosperity, practical prosperity, the ways in which you can actually engage the astrology, engage your chart, understand who your customers are, understand where you shine personally or with your business identity itself. And so she brings this really thorough understanding. I think that this is going to be a wonderful course to start a new year with, especially if you are one of those people who wants to align what you do for a living with some sense of purpose or passion or direction. Really, I know this is going to be a standout class with a supremely popular teacher, Stormie Grace. So You can learn more. Link is in the description below, and choose your tuition rate on now at synchronicityuniversity.com. Synchronicity University January Speaker Series. Learn from some of the most brilliant astrologers alive today together in a series with Choose Your Tuition Rate on now for as low as just $5 a class. The famous Choose Your Tuition Rate with Synchronicity University. To hear this caliber of speaker really is unheard of. And we've got 5 of them packed in a very eventful January. Maria Wander is going to be teaching cartomancy, which is connecting cards with your natal chart and understanding both more deeply as a result. We're going to have Sol Jonathan teaching on the changing of the nodes, which happens in January, where the nodes will move into the Taurus-Scorpio axis, and what that's going to mean for us individually and collectively. My friend Alex Trenoweth is back. Very popular speaker is back. She recently wrote a book or published a book called Mirror Mirror, the charts of famous people and the actors who portray them. And she's going to specifically look at the British royal family. So I think that's going to be a whole lot of fun given how much attention lately has been going to the British royal family as well. We are going to have Margaret Gray of Astrology Ireland teaching us on healing relationship wounds and patterns so that we can have more empowered and healthy relationships, looking at your chart to understand how to do that. And Darren Starr is going to be teaching on career and vocation in the astrology chart. What a wonderful practical class that'll be. And so this really is going to be a jam-packed January and a jam-packed January speaker series. I hope that you will join us as low as just $5 a class with Choose Your Tuition Rate on now. Visit synchronicityuniversity.com. Link is in the description below. Astrologia Maya is the Spanish edition of Mayan astrology, co-written by me and Yuridia Robles. We're going to do something online this week to celebrate the launch on December 9th, if you can believe it. I am so looking forward to this. The Spanish edition of Mayan astrology is coming out this week. If you go and get the Spanish edition, you can send us, if you pre-order the Spanish edition, send us the receipt and you will get access to the 2 classes that Yuridia taught in conjunction with this book. Basically, one class is on the Mayan sun signs. The other class is on compatibility of the Mayan signs. So those 2 classes are in English, but the book is in Spanish. So if you get the Spanish edition, if you pre-order it before December 9 and send us the receipt, once the book is published on Amazon and around the world, well, we'll be sure to send you those. One of my team members will be sure to send you the downloads to those 2 classes. So you get a $70 value for just $6.99 with Astrologia Maya. So if you are a Spanish speaker or a Spanish reader or a student of Spanish, you will likely get a whole lot out of this book, and I hope you absolutely love it. Thank you to everybody who supported the English language version of this book. It did get as high as number 2 as a new release. So Yuridia and I were elated about that under New Age Astrology. So thank you. Thank you for your love and support of my work as well. As you know, Mayan astrology is so near and dear to my heart. I am right now, I had to come back to Canada for a week, so I'm just going to be here for a few days. But right about now, I just got here last night. But right about now, you would know that Mexico has been home for me for 9 years. And one of the things that I loved about Mexico was the indigenous spirituality. The Mayan people are an important and major indigenous group in the region. And they have a very beautiful spiritual tradition and understanding of the cosmos and the world. This book is very practical. It helps you to find your Mayan sun sign and read it and understand it in a way that you can understand what your Mayan sun sign animal totem is and what that says about you and some of your lessons in this lifetime, some of your gifts in this lifetime. And then to consider how your sign, your animal, is with other signs and other animals. So whether you get it in English, whether you get it in Spanish, I thank you for your love and your support. And I hope you get so much out of this book. And thank you. Link is in the description below. And thank you so much for watching. So yes, I promised you I would tell you. I know a few weeks back I said, hey, I'm homeless. Please send positive energy. And so many of you did. And I'm so, so grateful for that. And so what happened was I kicked around hotels and Airbnbs until I actually was able to get back into my very favorite condo that is an R&B, but it's unofficial and it's not listed. And then somebody else had it when I had reserved it. It was all, kind of messy. And the manager was deeply apologetic to me as well. He said, I'm so sorry about the mix up and everything. I want you to always feel at home here because you are at home here. And I was like, yeah, I've been here for about a year. I thought it was home. So that was an interesting thing. Yes, there's astrology to support all this very adventurous stuff. Having said that, it's really nice. You would have seen it last week in the background. I was back in my condo and it is now still there. It is still mine. And I will be heading back there in a week. So I really just had to come into Canada very quickly and I will be heading back and I'm really looking forward to it. So wherever you are in the world right now, I send you so much gratitude for all the positive energy and love that you send my way. Really so grateful for it. And again, I'm really very excited about Astrologia Maya. I think that's going to be a lovely thing to share with the world, to share it in Spanish. Mexico is so near and dear to my heart. So yes, it means so much. Thank you for your love and support of my work once again. And thank you for being here. Now, And thank you so much for being here. There's going to be all kinds of new content up on my channel this week and next week as well. I hope you absolutely love it as you meet some of our January speakers, the Venus retrograde special horoscope, the celebration that Nadiya and I are going to have in Spanish. You're going to get to hear my Spanish. If you understand Spanish, please be kind and patient with me. It's not my first language, but I do love the language very, very much. And I hope that that shows. And so much more, of course, because we do continue to stay connected here on YouTube, on social media, and in the superstar space as well. So thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you. I'm sending you very big bursts of gratitude for all the ways in which you bless my life. And thank you again for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.